Hi there. In this video I'm just going to show you the basics of disassembling and reassembling the three main types of diatonic harmonica that Suzuki make. In terms of the 10-hole diatonic harps, there are two main types. There's one where the reed plates are recessed inside the moulded plastic comb. That's the harp master and the blues master of that kind. And then there's also a range of harmonicas like the Fire Breath, the Pro Master or the Fabulous, where the reed plates come to the front of the comb, and these have to be assembled in a slightly different way. And finally there's the Suzuki range of tremolo harmonicas, which are diatonic harmonicas with double reeds, and but these are very much the same as the others in the way they're assembled. Suzuki makes a toolkit which has got some basic tools in it. All we're going to need now for this particular video is a Phillips screwdriver, but if you have a look inside you'll see that I've added to the toolkit with all kinds of paraphernalia, and I'll show you the point of some of those a bit later on. Okay, let's start with the harp master now. The first thing to do is remove the cover plates, the top cover plate and the bottom cover plate. They're attached with screws at either end, and it's very simple to remove them. Simply put your finger on the base of one of the screws there, get your screwdriver, and then simply unscrew it. Now these are very small pieces and it's very easy to lose them, so put them down carefully, otherwise they might tumble onto the floor and it'll be hard to find them again. That's two of them. That's one side removed. Here's the other side. Oops. And that's the two cover plates off the harmonica. Now the cover plates make a handy place to keep all these little screws, so just put them all in one cover plate and then they won't get lost or fall off the table. Okay, now we have the insides of the harmonica with the cover plates removed, and you can see we have the comb and the two reed plates. Now on the top we have the blow reed plate. This one has got the reeds inside, recessed inside or underneath the reed plate, and these are the ones that make a noise when you blow. Can you see the reed vibrating there? That's the blow reed plate with the reeds recessed. On the other side, on the bottom of the harmonica, we have the reeds sitting on the outside of the plate, and these are the draw reed plates, and these are the ones that make a noise when you suck, or like this. The long reeds make a low sound and the small reeds make a high sound. Okay, now to remove the reed plates is very simple. You can see we've just got three screws there, so we just undo those in the same way as with the cover plate screws, and put the screws away inside the cover plate, just to keep them safe and so they won't fall off the table. So now, whoops, we have the harmonica completely disassembled. There's only 5 main parts: 2 reed plates, 1 comb and 2 cover plates. So it's actually a very, very simple instrument and quite easy to work on yourself if you want to get inside it. There's nothing to be afraid of in taking those cover plates off and having a look inside. Now to reassemble is basically just reverse the process. Make sure you get the right reed plates on at the right point. You'll see the longer reeds are going to go on the long slots of the comb, so don't put it round that way because it won't work then. So these longer reeds have to go on the long comb slots. There's the blow reed plate sitting in there, and the draw reed plate with the reeds on the outside goes on the underneath. Now we get our reed plate screws. The good thing about these particular harmonicas is the reed plates just sit perfectly inside the lip of the moulded comb, so there's no problem with lining everything up. Just do the screws up loosely to start with before you finally tighten them. Just locate them and put a few turns on the thread. Now when we tighten them up, this is very important, don't go too far, don't really put a lot of pressure on, just get them finger tight. If you over tighten these reed plate screws, you're going to buckle the reed plate and that will mean that the reed plate will lift away a little bit from the comb and you'll lose air tightness. So they just need to be finger tight, very light. Now the last thing to do is replace the covers. So make sure you've got the right covers for the right side. The bottom cover normally it doesn't have any numbers or anything like that, and that goes over the drawer reeds. So go there, just hold it with your hand, and then get the top cover, which is the one with the numbers, and that goes above the blow reeds. Again, put that in place and hold both of them with your hands. Then get one of the screws, the bottom screw, put it in place, and then get the top screw and just lightly rest it in there, and then gently screw it in. Again, don't do it up all the way, just do it lightly. And the same with the other side. Now just before you finally tighten them, just make sure the cover plates are sitting behind the lip of the front of the harmonica. You don't want the cover plates to come over the front, and just make sure everything's lined up nicely, and then finally tighten up the cover plates. Again, you can tighten them up a little bit harder than the reed plate screws, just to make sure that the cover plates don't move around. And there we have your reassembled Suzuki Harpmaster. Okay, now this is the other kind of diatonic harmonica that's commonly made, and Suzuki make several of this type. You'll see the comb is a solid block of material. In this case, with the new fabulous harmonica, this is solid brass coated with silver. But the comb could be wood, as in the case of the Fire Breath, or solid plastic, as in the case of the Overdrive. But basically the design is always the same. Now when you reassemble this kind of comb, you do the same thing. You get your two reed plates, the drawer reed plate with the reeds on the outside, and in this case there's a little channel at the front for the covers, so that should always go on the outside. And you get your blow reed plate. Now here things are not quite so easy to line up, so just hold everything together with your fingers. And then you get your reed plate screws. And again, just tighten them really lightly to start with. Very small fiddly things, these reed plate screws. So don't tighten them up all the way, especially with this kind of harmonica. Now the reason I didn't tighten them up all the way was just to locate everything, but in order to get the front of the plates and the comb sitting nice and flush, what you need to do when the screws are all quite loosely attached is put the harmonica down on a flat surface like this table, and then just tighten up a couple of the screws. I'll just do it at the edge of the table, that'll be a little bit easier. Maybe the two end ones. And that just ensures that the reed plates and the comb have got a nice flush fit to them. And then after you've done that, you can tighten up the other screws and everything will be nicely lined up. If you don't do that, one of the reed plates might be out of line and it just won't feel quite as good in your mouth. Again, don't tighten the screws up too far because you'll buckle the reed plates. Now finally, the cover plates of this kind of harmonica, the front of the cover plates fit into these little grooves on the reed plates. The other thing about the cover plates of this kind of harmonica is that they're specially designed with a bit of a bow in the cover plate, and the reason for that is that when you tighten down each end, it puts pressure on the front of the reed plate to help seal it to the comb, so that's very important. Again, make sure you've got the right cover plate for the right size. The numbers go on top, which is on top of the blow reeds. And then you get your little screws, put them in there. Same with the other side. Everything moves grooves around a little bit more with this kind of harmonica, so just be patient. Not one of my strongest suits, I must admit. Again, before everything is tightened up, just make sure it's all lined up. Just make sure the front of the comb, the front of the covers are in these little grooves here. You don't want them over the front, and then just tighten them up. And they need to be tightened up reasonably well. As I said, the front of the covers have got a bow in them, and so the two screws need to be tightened up fairly well so that they tighten down on the cover plates, and it puts pressure on the front of the reed plates and holds the reed plates tight to the comb to give extra special air tightness to the harmonica. So this is the inside of the humming tremolo. Now you can see that the construction is virtually identical to the inside of the fabulous diatonic, except with the tremolo you have 2 reeds for every note, so it's a lot bigger and there's a lot more reeds going on, but the actual construction is identical really. And the reassembly is identical as well. Remember, when you put it together, make sure that all these screws are loose before you finally tighten them up, in order to get a nice straight line between the reed plates and the comb. And then finally the cover plates fit on in exactly the same way as the other cover plates, and it all comes together in exactly the same way. So basically these ones and these ones are virtually identical in the way they're put together. Okay, that's about all for this particular video. There's 3 other videos which go into a bit more advanced maintenance and repair work for diatonics and chromatic harmonicas.